is Phil Mershon with Return on Initiative, and today we have a return guest. Very happy to say that Michael Rager has done us the favor of coming back for another interview. You've asked for him, and we're happy to have twisted his arm to get him to come back. And this time we're going to talk, as you may have guessed from his background, we're going to talk about a nice little enterprise called Whiteboards and Whiskey. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing great, Phil. How about yourself today?
Man, just sitting on a rainbow, which is I wish that was true weather-wise where I am. But in any case, man, so Whiteboards and Whiskey, it sort of seems self-explanatory, but let's talk about how you started that out, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, how I started it was I hired a marketing company, Phil, pre-pandemic. And like a lot of coaches, I was like, I really need to get more business. I need more business. I need more business. I'm not very good at writing copy. I'm okay copywriter, but I'm not the guy that you want to put together a funnel, that you want to do this. Not what I do. I'm very good at live in person. Put me on stage, put me in there with a glass of whiskey. Let me do what I do. Kind of like my Ron White, if you're familiar with the comedian Ron White. Sure. Kind of going in there with my glass of whiskey, doing what I got to do, and doing my teaching. And I hired this marketing company, and I was getting really ticked off, Phil. I've been working with them for about 8 weeks. They had come up with nothing. I paid them over $12,000. And I was to the point I was going to sue them. I mean, I really was. The company was out of New Zealand. I will not mention the guy's name since we're on Facebook. I would like to, because I would like to tell people not to hire him. And it just got a little adversarial. And I'm like, I'm kind of sick of this. And I want my money back. I want this. I want out of this. And the very last message I had, I was on a group call. And one of his guys said, you're always talking about whiskey and having whiskey. You like to talk. Why don't you just whiteboard out problems while you're drinking whiskey? I tried to do one online because it was still pandemic. We couldn't get out. And here it is. Now it's like 18 months later. We've done 22 events in Houston. We've done events in Australia and in Florida. Not me, but other coaches who are following our program. So we've expanded.
So 18 months, 22 events. How's that feel?
It's good. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's kind of the favorite part of my month. I know it's coming up. It's going to be there. The stressful part is making sure that there's the right business owners. And that's really what the 18 months helped us do. We went from doing free events to paid events, where now we're charging anywhere from $50 to $100 to attend. It's really helped us bring our target market into play. So, you're a marketing guy. You know what it's all about is I don't want to waste time with people that aren't my clients or not my potential clients. So we go ahead and we market to our specific client base. We get in there. That's where the high-end whiskey comes in. We're drinking bourbon, we're drinking scotch, we're drinking rye, and we'll have a different bottle or two every event. And whether you're going to pay the $50 and get our makers or, something that you can get pretty much anywhere. Our last event, we had 3 different whiskeys. My favorite one was called Chesterfield Farms. It's a nice, like $125, $130 bottle. And it didn't last very long. I can tell you that, Phil.
Somebody told me to mention the word blue to you. Does that
blue?
Yeah. Not getting a reaction. So
I'm not getting that. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go with that.
Yeah, I don't know. She just told me, she said, so anyway, well, but we're talking pretty good quality spirits here.
Yeah. We drink. If we're gonna drink, I don't want a hangover in the morning, and right. I want to drink quality. I can't even drink Jack Daniels. I got so sick on it in college once. Even the smell of it makes me not feel good, and I drink a lot of whiskey.
Yeah.
So, I have bad memories of that from my 21st birthday in college. So that and Southern Comfort, we don't have those at my events.
Understood. That's probably to your credit, I would think. So what's the whiteboards part look like?
The whiteboards is it just like it sounds. What we do is we generally have 10 to 20 business owners in the room at the time. And we go around and we ask our attendees to tell us three things. We want to know their name, the name of their company, and we tell them, I do not want your 30-second elevator pitch at all. I want to know the number one challenge you're having today. And what we do is we start writing it down on the whiteboard, and it primarily comes out to two big issues. The two big issues we've whiteboarded out most every time have been, one, lead generation. I'm consistently struggling to get new clients, or I'm not getting the type of clients I'd like to get. That's one. And number two is, how do I find good talent?
Now, when you say good talent, what does that mean?
People to work for. How do I go find new employees? How do I find the right people to bring in to my organization? And we talk a lot about, do you have the right culture? Where you at? I look at things like quiet quitting. That's a business owner problem. People are quietly quitting because you suck as a business owner.
Yeah.
Not having people come up and do what they're supposed to do and not show up. That's an owner problem. There's a lot of these things, and it's sometimes I'm a very big fan of Gary Vee. So I've got no problem being pretty direct with some of my clients. And you hate it when you got to look at them square in the eyes and say, look, you're the problem.
We have a saying around here that a new hire will know, usually silently, within the first 2 days, whether this is a good fit for them or not.
Yeah.
And they may not quit at this end of the second day. They may stick around for 9 months, or hell, for years. But that they're not really part of the operation. They're doing what they're doing, and they're getting a check, and you're scratching your head because you didn't see what they saw by the end of the second day.
Right. I tell my business owners, I said, what you got to do is go tell your employees what you're bad at. And it's not because they don't know, they know, they just want to know that you know.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that's getting past them. They already know what you suck at as a leader, and you just need to go out and confess it. So they know that and it allows you to be seen as transparent, so to speak, and kind of going from there. So that's kind of what we do as we're whiteboarding out those problems. It is exactly that. We start asking questions. Okay, what are you doing? We just start moving stuff around. Get to here, try this. Have you tried this? Why aren't you doing that? We ask our two magic questions all the time. We tell people that if you can answer these two questions, you can pretty much solve 95% of your marketing. And number one is, what does your customer have that they don't want? And number two is, what do they want that they don't have? And so that what do they have that they don't want is usually your headline. That's your attractor. And what do they want that they don't have? That's the thing that's going to get you in. And so how do you, as your business, how do you solve those problems? And I'm going to tell you, 95% of the business I ask, they cannot answer that question. And that's part of the reason why they struggle with where they're going. And so we spend a lot of the time whiteboarding out that. But for me, and for other coaches out there, we developed this as a lead generation system. I mean, it really is. It's a lead generation system for us. My partner, Chris Beard, who's in Australia, he has a mastermind system that we sell clients into called the Accountable Boardroom. And so we meet with them regularly. We do annual planning, quarterly planning, halfway through the quarter check-ins, and help them do the things that they want to do. We use what we call our success operating system. And that is, if you've, people that have used maybe EOS in the past or something like that, it's based off of that. We started off of that. I just didn't pay them $40,000 to get certified. We went in and we started working with a company called 90.io. And so kind of how we're starting to push things right now is Whiteboards and Whisky's accountable boardroom powered by 90.io. So we got this 90.io dashboard that helps our clients see what their major things they're working on for the next 90 days, their tasks, key performance indicators, everything they've got to do that keeps it in touch. And when we do those bigger meetings, Phil, I break out the $250 bottle of whiskey then, because we're gonna sit there, we're gonna be there for 4 hours, 5 hours. So we get there from noon till 5, go do our work, as a group of 8 to 10 executives acting as a boardroom for each of the others. We do our work, we do what we got to do, then we get done and we open up a really good bottle of whiskey and sit around and now talk and just mastermind out.
We're gonna run a promotional video that you've put together
Okay.
at this point and show people. It's one thing for you and I to discuss this, but I think it'd be cool for people to actually take a look and see what we're talking about. So we're gonna do that right here.
As a business owner, there's two things that I really love. Number one is solving challenging business problems. Number two, having some good whiskey. My name is Michael Rager, your business guide. Why don't you come out and visit us once a month on a Wednesday evening where we do whiteboards and whiskey. Imagine having 10 to 15 other business owners just like you in a room talking and solving problems. We whiteboard out the most challenging problems that business owners are having today while having a great drink in the process. We have great food, great fun, great people. Michael Rager, your business guide. Whiteboards and whiskey, come out and join us.
That was an absolutely excellent presentation. So it makes me wonder, and I'm going to ask you this. So this is not for guys only, though. I mean, it's we see the whiskey and we see.
No, it's not. It's like both of my companies, they got a little bit of a masculine twist to them. They teach your business to fish here in Whiteboards and Whiskey. But now we get probably about 20 to 25% of our attendees are ladies. They're business owners as well. They have the same issues. We do own Whiteboards and Wine, so we'll probably be switching that up. We're going to get this going.
I didn't know that. Good for you.
We can only build one at a time, so we're going to go on this one, and then we're going to push out Whiteboards and Wine right after this. But it's really funny, Bill. On the Whiteboards and Wine, we actually were running a lot of ads for our event on Eventbrite. And you notice my little trademark symbol there. I'll have the R, I'll have the circle R, probably according to my attorney in April. But there was a lady in North Carolina that saw my thing, and she started trying to push Whiteboards and Wine. Well, I reached out to her. I thought it was very politely and said, "Hey, you can't do that. We've trademarked this, and we spent a lot of time, we spent money trademarking everything we were doing, and you're violating our trademark." And she got pretty mad. And I'm like, "Well, I don't need you to get mad. Why don't you join us?" And she started going, "I'm giving wine and it is whiskey." And I'm like, no. That just doesn't work that way.
Right.
And, but maybe she'll see us again and maybe she'll pop back up. But yeah, she was pretty offended when I asked her to stop. And I didn't want to get to the point that I want to have my attorney send her a cease and desist letter, but
right.
It was going to happen. We were that close because I've spent over a year working on this and perfecting it myself and getting to where we want to be. We've had some people come and help us and they left, and it really helped us figure out how do we get the right mix in the room. But then, I presented at a coaching conference in Cancun in October last year. And that's where I met Chris Beard, who's now my partner. He was from Australia, and we both, we're both big fishermen. We both do everything that, we're like just two guys that just live on the other side of the planet from each other.
Oh, do you fish?
Yeah, he fishes, does everything. I mean, I swear to God, we're brothers from different mothers for sure. And everything came out like this is great. And we had 5 or 6 other coaches who had like to get in on this. But Chris and I we really connected well. And once he got back to Australia, we had a really serious talk. And he says, "Mike, I really want to be a part of this." And I know one of the questions you're going to ask me, where are we going, is he's helping me open up Australia. So he is going to be head of our Australian operations. I'm going to be head of global. and North America. My goal right now, Phil, is within the next year and a half, I'd like to be doing a minimum of one Whiteboards and Whiskey event in every NFL city.
Okay.
So
That I always like it when you say NFL cities. Tell us what you mean by that.
well, an NFL city is big enough that it has a wide variety of businesses. There is a lot of money going on. There's a lot of commerce going on. There's tons of stuff going on in the city. You know, that's why the NFL has picked the cities that it's picked. You know,
Right.
it's they're big enough to support a multi $100 million operation. So it's not saying, you know, I live in Houston, Texas. So, you know, we've got Houston and Dallas, but you know, we start looking at those are my prime candidates. I'm going to go to Houston. I'm going to finish Houston. I got Houston. I'm probably going to bring in another person to run them in Houston, and we're putting together a franchise here in the United States, and it's going to be a licensing agreement in Australia, just because of the rules and regulations between the two countries. But if I hit those 32 cities, that's going to be great. I know by the size of them, Phil, I could probably have 2 to 3 franchises in each city. And these people wouldn't touch each other, because we've also done like Whiteboards and Whiskey for law firms, Whiteboards and Whiskey for blue collar businesses, Whiteboards and Whiskey for sales professionals. So I can sell to different coaches that have different niches, and they could run a Whiteboards and Whiskey event hitting that niche every month and never step on each other's toes. But then I've got the other cities here. I got Austin, I got San Antonio, I got some other bigger cities that I can throw it in. I got my friend Jeremy Torsick. Jeremy's in Fort Lauderdale. So we got Fort Lauderdale, Miami. We got the ability to go up to West Palm Beach, Orlando, Tampa. You know, Tampa's an NFL city. Jacksonville's an NFL city. But, you know, we've got the ability to go hit Tallahassee. You know, Tallahassee is state capital, you know,
Right.
and we've mapped it out in our, the way Chris and I are looking at a multi-million-dollar business in 2 to 3 years. That's without taking on capital to grow it. That's just us going and doing what we got to do.
Wow. Fantastic. Whiteboards and Whiskey, and potentially Whiteboards and Wine.
Whiteboards and Wine.
Yeah. This is
We had to do that because people were going to steal it. We knew they were.
right.
And
Oh, absolutely.
so-
Absolutely. In my neighborhood, it would be Whiteboards and Paps or something, but no. So this is great. This is great. What I've just one last question, and we didn't talk about this in advance, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
So can you think of a particular exciting thing that happened at one of your events that maybe stands out, or that would be?
I think it's just the ability of what people learn there. And, you know, we've got a very good system we sell them into, you know, and having people want to hire you. You know, for me as a coach, people want to hire me very quickly. You
Right.
know, okay, because that's what it's about. It's about the sales mechanism for me as a coach to go out and present myself. Because it's way easier to sell a coaching product or service if people actually see you in action. You know, and
Sure.
and kind of go out and do that. And if I'm up in front of the room and I can command the room, you know, and answer questions that are just, you know, thrown at me, that makes it simple. So it's one of the things we are looking for is we're not just going to take any coach. You know, we're going to be very selective on who we want to work with. You know, I've already been approached by people in like 6 different cities. I had a lady that was interviewing me to potentially work on her coaching team. By the end of our call, she's like, "Hey, I don't know how many of these you're going to have in Denver, but I want one."
Wow.
She goes, "Maybe 2. I want 2 territories." You know, and she's a very specialty coach. She saw it as great. She goes, "I got a specialty business, and she works with generational businesses. So businesses have gone from father to son to grandson. She likes those multi-generational businesses, and she's very good at helping them grow and keep growing. And that's her niche. And so she's like, I can just push this right in my niche. They're higher end, they're executives, they're they like a good whiskey and cigar.
So how would someone who is enthralled by all of this, as I suspect a lot of people are, what's the best way for someone to get the ball rolling? What's the first step?
If they're interested in potentially coming on as a franchisee, we're going to break that out. It's probably gonna be ready by May. Our lawyers and are finishing up this stuff. We will, by the end of the week, I think we'll have our new email address for that, Phil. It's going to be whiskey at WNB whiskey. So .com. So WB for whiteboards, the N for the N, and whiskey. So you're going to talk to the bottle of whiskey. So instead of admin or support, we're going to have whiskey at WBNwhiskey.com. Because it seems like, Phil, every time I choose a business name, it's really freaking long. And I just want to type it out all the time.
Your business to fish.
I own TYB2F.com. All right. So I own that, but I can't. I've been trying. The guys that manage the website for me, I've been trying to get them. They need to change some code in the back so I can verify that it's my domain, because they host it through another system, and I can't get it done right. So I can't switch from Teach Your Business to Fish to TYB2F.com. And WNW was already gone. And the reason it's whiteboards and the letter N whiskey is somebody already bought the and the Anistan in there, so I couldn't get it. So, but we're pretty happy, because we just kind of go WNW.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is when we're talking about it, internal. But they can do that. They can call me 713-201-5559, or they can reach me at Michael at Teach Your Business to Fish, and talk about it. But I don't have Michael. I own Michael at WBNwhiskey.com. I just haven't hooked it up yet. I've got too many email addresses as it is right now, and I need I need an assistant just to manage my emails, Bill. I got too many of them.
I wish I could say I didn't know what you meant by that. But,
I know.
In any case, so Michael Rager, Whiteboards and Whiskey, thank you very, very much for taking the time to explain this to us. And and folks, if you're watching, and you are, you need to reach out to Michael. And after you've done that, then you need to think about subscribing to our channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on Facebook or LinkedIn, and you may very well be, hit that share button, because somebody would very likely find this just as fascinating as you do. So that said, Michael Rager, you are the man of the day. We really appreciate you talking to us, and we'd love to have you come back and talk to us again.
Of course, anytime, Phil. I love it.